praise their accomplishment, and discuss where to go from. Measure individual results, assess aggregate progress, consider new opportunities to develop employees and obstacles. Adjust the goals and strategies for your development philosophy. Evaluating technical trainings. The value of trainings and development endeavors the extensive use of time, money, and resources for the employees' training. Some hinges are: did learners learn anything of value? Did the training increase their performance on the job? Did the contribute towards did it contribute towards generating the desired business results? To measure training effectiveness properly, you will need quantitative and qualitative metrics in the form of KPI or Key Performance Indicators. Ito po yung mga common training KPI to measure the effectiveness. Walo po ito: training attendance rate, course completion rate, average time to completion, post-training assessment results, learning satisfaction rate, learners retention rate, job performance impact, and training ROI. Pero meron po tayong 7 key performance indicator na ginagamit to measure training effectiveness. First po ay yung time proficient. Instructional designers focus much on making learning easy and engaging for learners to shorten the learning curve. For implementing learning analytics, you can leverage the reporting abilities of the LMS to check the average as well as individual time taken by learners to finish their training. You can also form focus groups and assess the performance, but before and after training to see time taken to reach a certain level of proficiency. For example po dito ay meron pong dalawang company na parang nagpuunahan sa isang project, yun po. So kung may training po tayo na mas mabilis na matuto yung isang trainer natin, tine-train natin, siya po siguro yung makakakuha ng project na yun. Then second po, knowledge and skill retention. To tackle this problem, instructional designers constantly try to make learnings more engaging, short, and repeat across regular intervals. How much learners can retain the knowledge and skills they gain in the training is a key indicator of how effective the training was. It is usually measured by gauging the difference between pre- and post-training assessment. Ayun po, dito naman po, ini-indicate po natin na tayong mga tao daw ay may iba't ibang kakayahan ng pag-alala sa mga bagay-bagay. So, mas maganda daw po kung before and after ng training ay mas marami tayong natutunan na natatandaan. For the third po, transfer of training. The sole purpose of corporate training hinge on the enabling employees to transform knowledge into skill. This is why we strive to align learning with the desired performance of learners and the performance of the organization as a whole. Whether employees are able to translate learned information to their jobs is an important KPI to measure effectiveness of training. For this number 3 naman po, yung knowledge daw po natin ay kino-convert natin sa skills. Yung dating alam lang natin ay kaya na po natin gawin after ng training. Fourth, impact on organizational performance metrics. Training enables business to sell more, increase service efficiencies and productivity, and stay complainant. Simply put, training is the key of enhancing the performance of individuals and organizations. Measuring the difference between performance metrics before and after training. is the key to understand the contribution of the business ROI. The impact of training on the employee performance and teams or department also enables learning analytics to help the shape the scope for future training and define performance goals. Fifth po, employee engagement. Training is an important factor in determining employees. Experience and learning analytics improves the chance of its effectiveness. Employee engaged KPI within workplace training can be ignored for a qualifies and quality of employee training, enhance employee retention, and reduce turnover rates. For the sixth Net Promoter Score, customer satisfaction is becoming increasingly crucial for a successful business because with social media, customers have the upper hand and can make or break your organization's image. The Net Promoter Scores of NPS allows customers to rate on scale of 1 to 10 how likely they are to suggest or recommend your services to friends and peers based on their experiences. The same idea can be applied to measure employee satisfaction by asking them how likely are you to recommend this course to a peer. This can work as an indicator of whatever the training rolled out for employees is effective. Number 7, stakeholder satisfaction. Stakeholder the ultimate seal of approval on the effectiveness of training. They observe whether employees are able to transfer the knowledge or skills to their jobs. They are also responsible for the performance matrix of employees as well as teams as a whole. Knowing all this, it is safe to assure the stakeholder satisfaction is a crucial indicator of the effective training program. Yan po, sa factors affecting technological development naman, technology is ceaselessly advancing with the development of the groundbreaking technologies occurring every day. Most successful companies rely on the latest technology to boost their products or services. If a company doesn't use the right technology or keep it up to date, it will end up being hindrance rather than helpful, and it could influence the performance of the business. Common examples of technological factors, new technology, production strategies, ICT or information communication technology, such as internet, mobile apps, smartphones, and social media. Innovation, logistics, AR or augmented reality, production, marketing, machine learning, artificial intelligence, e-commerce technology, robotics, automation, data management practices, customer expectation of technology, research and development. And po, pumili lang po ako ng ilan sa mga technological factors. Inuna ko po dito yung automation, which is dapat po yung mga staff should be trained in using this customized system. For example po, yung ating company ay sa production na lang halimbawa. Ito pong company natin ay nag-purchase ng bagong automation system. Dapat po yung mga staff ay well-trained para paganahin yung bagong bili na system. And again, for the robotics, ganun din po pag may bagong robotics na binili, instead po na yung tao yung gagawa ng paulit-ulit na ginagawa ay robots na po, and malilipat na po yung tao na gumagawa na yon maybe for the maintenance of the robot. And kung may training po siya na ginawa ay dapat po alam niyang paganahin yung robot na yan. And the AI po and machine learning. Business use machine learning to maximize strategic processes. A company can use artificial intelligence and machine learning to learn and predict patterns in consumer behavior. Increase effective and reduce cost. Machine learning can also provide information and data for more target or personalized campaigns and communication with customers, which then help to identify sales opportunities while also providing a better user experience for the customer. These lessons are eliminates manpower, but needs training on the troubleshooting and repair of the machines as it was in design and creation. Ayun po, next po ay AR. Refers po sa immersive version of physical world that advanced by computers. In training po must be provided to ensure the maximum use of it for the company yield. Ayun po, magagamit po siya sa mga 3D modeling po ng mga companies. Siyempre, sa modern technology, kailangan ng training para makagamit ka ng mga AR or 3D modeling. Yun po. Sa e-commerce naman, refers to the buying and selling of the goods and services online. The introduction and advancement of e-commerce business have made products and services far more accessible to the customers. It also reduces cost for businesses such as rental fees for a brick and mortar store as it's not fixed and geographic location. It also offers you the opportunity to reach a much wider audience. For the e-commerce naman po, yung mga purchasing natin online and yung mga stores online ay mas effective daw po. Dahil, for example, may mga companies na yung sabi ko kanina, yung mga napag-iiwanan nga po na hindi nag-a-adapt ng technology ay hindi po siya naging helpful kundi nakakasira po sa hindi lang sa mga employees nito dahil mawalan sila ng trabaho and then sa sales din. Kung hindi po nila i-adapt lalo na sa mga sales for the e-commerce. For the logistics and marketing, technology has completely changed the way businesses markets themselves to their customers. Having more information on your demographic and target audience means you can create marketing campaigns that are now much more targeted and personalized for individual consumers. You can also create marketing campaigns that are much cheaper than in-store marketing and reach a far larger audience. For ICT, it can make the process or communication within a business much more productive. Keeping your company technology up to date ensure that you can offer consumers the best services. It also means that you can take advantage of the latest updates in technology that can help make your services more effective. One of the most important examples is the internet, which helps business to create global presence and communicate direct to the consumers for any location. Another is cloud computing, which allows you to store and access data for any location. And for the research and development, this refers to how business manage and improves the products and services. When you focus your efforts on research and development, you are more likely to create more innovative products and services. Some major recent advances include mobile apps and smartphones, all of which are constantly updated. Greenhouse technology. And sa greenhouse tech naman po refers to the type of technology that considers environmental friendly based on its production, process, or its supply chain. Green tech or green technology is an umbrella term that describes the use of technology and science to reduce human impacts on the natural environment. Green technology encompasses a wide area of scientific research including energy, atmospheric science, agriculture, material science, and hydrology. Greenhouse innovation can spur economic technological development at the same time, building resilience and mitigate climate disasters. And po, hindi lang tayo sa technology na gi-improve, dapat din meron din pong akibat na pag-aalaga sa ating kapaligiran, yung greenhouse technology. Ayun po, salamat.
Okay, thank you, Sir Aguilan. So, the topic for today is, so that we, like, as we call the topic for today, so we are dealing with higher technical training and development, and then the other one is technological regimes and windows of opportunity. So this is a good topic wherein we can probably can think about what would be our topic for our proposal. One of which was mentioned was the green technology. So yun yung ating i-emphasize. Okay? So, for higher technical training and development, so ano ba ang meron kay higher technical training and development? So based on sa discussion, so this involves, sabi daw dito, ano ba yung meron sa kanya? Educational and skill building programs that go beyond basic or entry-level training. So, most probably, most of us already involved on this higher technical training and development kasi iba po sa akin ay definitely humahawak po ng tao. Okay? Tama po ba? So, ano ba ang meron dito? So, most probably, we can include advanced degree programs. Ito po yung ginagawa nyo. You are enrolled. Tama ba? Sa graduate programs. What else? Professional certificates. Okay, so what else? Pwede din po yung immersion. Okay, so yung mga OJTs natin. So, in the academe, meron po tayong tinatawag na faculty immersion. Okay, so we immerse ourselves the different industries that we have. So, kami po ay pumupunta sa different companies. Okay, so most probably this would run for about several months for us to be immersed. Okay, tapos meron din po tayong tinatawag na continuous learning. Okay, so another one that we have here is, isang topic natin, technological regimes and windows of opportunity. So it's good that Sir Aguilan has mentioned ano ba yung mga opportunities na meron tayo. So let me share my screen with you. So in addition doon sa discussion ni Sir Aguilan, so I have here, am I sharing my screen na po? Meron po ba?
Yes po.
Okay, ko lang po ha. Okay. So with this one, most probably you can look into ano ba yung mga bago sa 2023. So isa sa mga nabanggit ni Sir ay yung computing power. Gumagalaw po ba? Parang hindi. Ayan. Meron na po?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this time, ano ang meron tayo? So we are already in a digitized world. So everything is digital. Okay? So, lahat po ng ginagamit natin from a simple device to a complicated devices, even at home industry, digitized na po siya. So, yun yung tinatawag natin computing power. So, sabi daw dito, we have 5G already. Okay? Papunta na nga niya sa 6G. So, yan na po yung ating, actually 5G is 5 generation, papunta po sa 6th generation. So, ano pa po ang meron sa computing power? So, data science, robotics, and IT management. So, this field will power the largest percentage of employment in every country. So, more computing our devices will need, the more technicians, IT teams, relationship managers, and customer care economy will flourish. So, another trending that we have here is yung tinatawag nating smart devices. Okay? So, I think you would agree na kapag tayo ay bumibili ngayon ng ating mga appliances, we choose smarter devices. Tama po ba? Do we agree on that? Diba?
Yes,
Isa
ma'am.
yun sa mga requirement natin. Lahat dapat smart device ang ating mga gadgets. Okay? Even at homes, you are looking to smart devices. Okay? Ano ba ang meron kay smart devices? So, this involves what you call now AI. Okay? So, sabi daw dito, si AI daw, they played an essential role in making our world smarter and smoother. So, it is not just simulating humans, but going the extra mile to make our life hassle-free and simpler. Nung araw, pag manonood tayo ng television, tama ba? So, hindi pa uso nun eh. Okay? So, pag manonood tayo, let's say, kailangan mong i-connect manually. So, ngayon, even our television sets can be connected wireless, okay, to an internet. Okay, what else? Yung ating mga home appliances, smart devices na rin. Okay, maglalaba ka, lahat na lang ng pwede, smart devices tayo. Ano pa ba? Air condition sa bahay, smart devices na rin. Okay, so everything will be going to smart devices. Okay, so another trending that we have here is datafication. So datafication is simply transforming everything in our life into devices or software powered by data. Okay, so to keep our data stored the right way and secure and safe, it has become an in-demand specialization in our economy. Other opportunities that we have here, ito po ang meron tayo, yung AI, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. This was mentioned during the presentation. Okay? So, lahat po ay gumagamit na ng Artificial Intelligence. Okay? So, meron din po tayong tinatawag na extended reality. Yung mga VR, AR, MR. Okay? So, extended reality comprises all the technologies that simulate reality from virtual reality, augmented reality, to mixed reality, and everything else in between. You can go to a places, okay, virtually, dahil po dito sa extended reality. You can feel what it is to be visiting, okay, o kahit po yung paggamit ng isang bagay through extended reality. Okay? So another opportunities that we can have here is the digital class. Unfortunately, medyo nagkakaroon ng issue ng ibang mga website. Nahahack po sila. Mga po ba? So, yung PhilHealth, ano ba yung nahack last time? PhilHealth? Okay. Medyo nagkaroon ng problem sa yung PhilHealth. Okay, so this is known as digital class. Everything that we do for the time being is already through online. Okay? So, ano ba ang meron kay digital class? So, this is another vital trend leading to more innovations. Meron na tayong mga online banking, online payment. Tama po ba? So, lahat na lang ay online. So, dapat maganda. Okay? Solid yung ating digital class. Okay? So, we also have, I think you've heard about 3D printing. Okay? So, ano mang meron kay 3D printing? So, it is used to formulate prototypes. So, nung araw, ang hirap gumawa, mag-fabricate. Okay? But, with the use of this technology, ang dali na po. Kasi pwede mo nang gawin even your own design, tracing, what else? To 3D printing. So, ganyan din po with the other applications of 3D printing. So, we have used this one in biomedical and industrial sectors. Okay? We also have genomics. Ano naman si genomics? So, imagine a technology that can study your DNA and use it to improve your health, helping you fight diseases. Okay? So, yan yung isa sa mga trending technologies that we have here. Okay? So, meron din po tayong mga new energy solutions. So, dito po pumapasok yung ating green technology. Okay? So, meron din po tayong mga RPA. Ano po yung RPA? Robotic Process Automation. So, this is just like AI and machine learning. So, ang RPA po is also about automating jobs. Okay? So, we also have edge computing. Okay, kaya nga meron tayong mga Google Cloud Platform. iClouds. Okay? So, meron din po tayong quantum computing. Okay? So, marami pong technologies, trending technologies. So, I think we have also, and this is extended reality. So, VR, augmented, okay, immerses the user in an environment while AR enhances their environment. So, this is the difference between VR and augmented reality. Okay? So, ano pa yung meron? Blockchain. Have you heard about blockchain? Have you heard about blockchain po?
Yes
Ano po
po.
ang
Yes,
meron
ma'am.
si blockchain? Yung blockchain technology. Ito yung ginagamit ng mga ano po, sa cryptocurrencies. So, hindi lang po ito pang cryptocurrencies, but this can also be used also for documents. Okay? Yung ating document. So, para hopefully hindi na mabawasan na yung mga ating maging paperless na tayo. Okay? So, we can use blockchain for that. Okay? So, of course, IoT, Internet of Things. Okay, so enable devices, home appliances, cars, and much more to be connected to and exchange data over the internet. Okay, so yan na yung uso ngayon, IoT. What else? Other opportunities that we have here? Okay, o nabanggit na ito, yung ating 5G. Actually, galing tayo sa 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Ayan po ay meron na tayong 6G. Okay? So, cybersecurity, dahil po most of us are using online, okay, internet. So, dapat solid din po yung ating cybersecurity. Okay, so this will remain a trending technology because it will constantly evolve to defend against those hackers. So, yan yung mga trending technologies natin. Okay. Okay. So, just what Sir Agulan has mentioned, I'm going to ang aking screen. And share my screen. Okay? Yung ating topic, higher technical training and development. So, I would say that one example of a company or industry that we can say na maganda yung kanilang higher technical and training development is Google. Ano po ang meron kay Google? Okay?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes po. Yes, sir. Probably can share your po.
Okay. Yeah, well, pakiramdam ko kaya certain companies like Google, they thrive in, yung higher, yung higher training and technology kasi simply because, siguro first off, nag-i-invest sila sa research and development kasi
Yes,
all of the
I agree with
learning,
that.
starts with research and development eh. And from that, ayun, kasi natitrigger yung research development na simply because they have funding. Kasi
Yeah,
malaki silang
it's a
company
bigger,
and
multinational company.
and they can sustain the research and development, and with that, na-enhance yung mga technical skills ng mga tao nila.
I agree with that.
And ayun, and yung pangalawa yung culture itself, ma'am. Yung culture doon sa Google, pag nakita mo naman,
Ang ganda.
ganda, di ba? Parang,
Napakaganda. Para ka lang, para ka lang, tawag dun, nasa bahay eh. Tama po ba?
exactly,
Yung
ma'am.
ambience nila, it's very,
Oo.
parang, cool lang ang kanilang office eh. Not the
Oo,
typical office that we can imagine eh.
Oo, na tayo kasi parang pwede sa office, parang kumbaga nasa
Tables and
lamesa,
chairs.
table and
Yes,
chairs.
yes.
Saka parang
Opo.
home-like talaga yung
Home life,
kaya
yes sir.
kaya with that parang nako-culture na foster yung mga tao na mag-aral, mag-share, yung environment encouraging, parang
Yes,
gano'n,
sir.
encouraging talaga. And siguro yung pangatlong sasabihin ko dahil nga gano'n yung environment, saka gano'n yung culture, nare-retain nila yung mga tao nila na to stay in Google. And
Yung attrition nila is lower. Tama po ba?
yes, oo, attrition, yeah, oo. Nare-retain, yung retention pala, yun siguro yung tamang term. Yung retention. Kaya yung continuity ng mga projects nila, tuloy-tuloy and seamless, and yun, nakaka ano, sila yung forefront in terms of mga technology advancement, kasi nga yung tatlo, yung parang yung tatlo na yun na pagsama-sama nila sa company nila.
Napakaganda ng Google if you can look into yung setup nila, meron silang parang recreational area. If you want to sleep, you can sleep. Parang hindi nila pina-pressure yung kanilang mga employees Tama po? Ang ganda
Opo,
yung
tama.
setup nila Napakaganda. Ang ganda ng
Totoo.
office nila. Para lang silang naglalaro sa loob ng office But definitely, maganda yung nila, treatment for their Kaya yung training po talaga, training nila. Sabi nga po they provide numerous courses on various technical and soft skills. Okay? And they also have, I think they have their own Google IT support professional certificate platforms like Coursera. Napakaganda po ng Google. Google is yung company nila is actually hindi Google, Alphabet Incorporated. Yun ang under Google. So they are not only exploring on IT, pero may mga subsidiaries companies sila yung mga self-driving cars, artificial intelligence. So talagang nag-expand sila with other technologies. So I think one good example of that is Google itself. Okay? So meron pa yung mga Tesla. Tesla also. We can see that Tesla also is one of the companies that has higher technical training and development. So they invest heavily in technical skill development. Yun ang maganda kay Tesla. Okay? Ano bang meron kay Tesla ngayon Sila ngayon ang leading about yung EV industry, yung ating mga electric vehicle industry. Yun ang meron. Yun ay isa sa mga example po ng companies that has higher technical training and development. Okay? So I think that's a good report for the topic. Thank you, Sir Agulan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay po. May I ask also for the other reporters po na I'll be creating an assignment tab, dun po natin i-upload yung ating mga PowerPoints po natin, for reference po. Okay? So, thank you, sir. So, who will be the next one? Okay po ba yung ating next reporter?
Ako po, ma'am. Mijares po.
Sige po. Sir, okay? You can share your screen, sir?
Okay po. Share ko na po.
Okay po. Ang topic niyo po, sir, ay technological catch-up. Tama po ba?
Yes po, ma'am.
For
Leapfrogging po.
developed countries. Sige po.
Nakikita na po ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Visible na po siya.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Jasper Mijares, a student of Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering in Energy Engineering. So, and I'm about to present to you the technological catch-up and leapfrogging of developed countries. So, bago tayo magsimula, i-define muna natin kung ano yung technological catch-up. So, pag sinabing technological catch-up refers to the process by which a country or region acquires technological capabilities that are comparable to those of more advanced country. So, involved dun yung yung process ng imitation of existing technologies sa ibang bansa and adaptation of those technologies to local conditions and development of new technologies that are better suited to local needs. The goal of technological catch-up is to enable developing countries to become more competitive in the global economy and to improve the well-being of their citizens. So nung habang ginagawa ko yung presentation ko para sa subject na to, na based sa definition ng technological catch-up, para talaga yun sa developing countries. Pero ang nasa inyo sa akin is yung para sa mga developed country. Pero habang gumagawa ako ng presentation ko, yung mga developed countries kasi bago sila maging develop, dumaan din sila sa proseso ng ano 'no, or naging developing countries din sila bago sila matawag na developed country. So bago ako mag-proceed dun, nilist ko muna dito yung mga key points about technological catch-up. So ito yung, mga gusto kasing mangyari or yung nangyayari kapag nasa process ng technological catch-up. So closing the gap aims to narrow down the technological gap between less and more advanced entities. So meron kasing gap 'no, para masabing dumadaan ng proseso ng catch-up, meron kasing ano, kumbaga meron kasing hahabulin, about sa technology. So merong gap between two countries, kaya yung isang less developed humahabol dun sa developed country or yung sa mas advanced na country. So imitation and adaptation involves copying and adjusting advanced technologies through licensing, reverse engineering, and knowledge sharing. So pag sinabing imitation 'no, ginagaya yung mga technologies sa mga advanced na country. Ang adaptation naman, meron pang binabago. So pag sinabing adaptation, kinukuha yung idea, merong konting binabago para maging mas akma dun sa bansang pag-a-applyan ng technology na yun. So learning and absorptive capacity. Technological catch-up needs learning, investing in education, R&D or research and development, and fostering innovation. So para maisagawa mo na yung isang technological catch-up sa isang bansa, so kailangan nag-i-invest yan sa research and development. Nabanggit na rin naman kanina sa discussion previously, no? And yung educating the people or yung pinaka-gagamit, yung mga consumer at kung sino yung mga magtatrabaho para dun sa bagong technology na yun. So incremental progress, yung technological catch-up is a step-by-step process, identifying and integrating feasible technologies or practice for advancement. So nagagawa yung isang technological catch-up ng hindi isang bagsakan kumbaga 'no. So, kasabay na rin ng research and development. So unti-unti yung nangyayari, yung technological catch-up. So, hindi siya isang meeting lang or isang araw lang nagagawa, advance na rin agad kayo or nakahabol na kayo sa ibang bansa. Siyempre marami pang pagdadaan ng proseso. Yun nga 'no, yung research and development, siyempre yung implementation din. Tapos yung mga training 'no, ng mga taong gagamit nun. Resource allocation, resources, human and financial, are invested in acquiring and developing technology through research and development, education, training, and infrastructure. So, siyempre 'no, meron pong malaking part yung government, sa pag-allocate ng resources. So, malaking part ng government para maisagawa yung isang technological catch-up ng isang bansa. So, adaptation to local context, ito na nga po rin yung nabanggit ko kanina 'no, kapag nag-i-imitate ka ng isang, makabagong technology, para sa bansa ninyo, meron kang ano 'no, may mga konti kang babaguhin para maging, akma dun sa bansa ninyo. Sector specific catch-up, so ang pag-catch-up hindi isang malaking ano 'no, hindi sa isang malaking area. So kumbaga sector specific. So kung sa renewable energy lang, dun lang kayo kuma-catch up 'no. So at hindi rin siya, sabay-sabay kumbaga. So manufacturing, puwedeng sa manufacturing lang, puwedeng sa IT, or puwedeng sa renewable energy. Dun lang kumbaga dun lang yung inaano niya 'no, inaayos niya yung technological gap. Dun lang kayo humahabol sa part na yun. So, yun nga sabi ko nga hindi siya pangmalawakan. So merong specific dapat na hinahabol kayo 'pag sinabing, technological catch-up. Then yung sa government and institutional support, ayun nga sinabi ko rin kanina, malaki yung part ng gobyerno kasi sila yung nagbibigay ng mga incentive, sila yung nagpapatupad ng mga regulation at sila yung pumupondo sa mga research and development. So, totoo naman 'no, yung government talaga yung may malaking factor kapag may bagong technology. Madalas, or mas maganda kung sa kanila nanggagaling yung pondo ng pag-research and development. Kasi, kumbaga para na yun sa tao agad kapag gobyerno yung nag-asikaso. Kapag, private companies naman yung nag-back ng ano 'no, ng R&D, So hindi na siya gano'n ka ano sa mga tao. Kumbaga mas mahal na 'yun kapag na-introduce na sa mga tao para dun sa bansa na 'yun. Kaya malaki yung part ng gobyerno sa pagpapatupad nga nito 'no. Globalization and trade. Globalization and international trade often drive technological catch-up by granting access to global markets and facilitating technology transfer, expediting the process. So sabi dito, meron ding epekto yung ano 'no, kumbaga meron ding epekto yung relationship ng mga bansa. So halimbawa yung Pilipinas magka-catch up sa, ay i-address yung technological gap natin halimbawa sa Singapore. So dapat meron tayong ano 'no, maayos na relationship, yung Pilipinas at yung bansa ng Singapore para maisagawa yung technological catch-up. So siyempre, obviously kapag, halimbawa merong alitan yung bansa ninyo, hindi niyo yun magagawa. Kasi kailangan niya ng partnership. Siyempre dun din sa kanila magagaling yung mga training and development para sa para sa catch-up na mangyayari sa inyo 'no. So overall, all in all, the rate at which a country is able to undertake technological limitation is a key factor in the catch-up process. In this rate this rate is influenced by existing technological capabilities, policies, and institutional arrangements. The nature of technological systems, the structure of the market for technology, and international trading rules are also important factors that can influence the catch-up process. Technological catch-up is a complex and dynamic process that requires sustained effort, strategic planning, and conducive environment for innovation and knowledge transfer. While it can lead to significant advancements, it's important to note that not all technologies are easily transferable, and the context in which they are applied plays a critical role in their success. So sana malinaw na tayo 'no, 'pag sinabing technological catch-up, sa madaling salita, humahabol yung isang bansa sa isang mas advanced na bansa. So, ito na yung report ko 'no, yung para sa mga developed country. Magbigay daw kasi ng example, at least 3 'no. So, unang example natin diyan is yung Japan. So nangyari yung technological catch-up nila nung, after ng World War II. Yung bansa kasi nila 'no, masyado naapektuhan nung, World War II na yun, kaya nagkaroon sila ng ano, kumbaga naunang na-develop, or naiwan sila ng ibang mga bansa, when it comes dun sa technology, kaya nagkaroon ng technological gap. So through extensive investment in research and development, fostering a culture of innovation, leveraging global knowledge through collaboration and partnership, Japan rapidly caught up and eventually became technology powerhouse. They excelled in sectors like automotive manufacturing, consumer electronics, robotics, and sa iba pa, no? So alam naman natin yung bansang Japan, sa kanila yung ano, no? Kumbaga nasa kanila yung karamihan ng mga sasakyan na nandito ngayon sa Pilipinas. Yun yung Toyota, Honda, may Mitsubishi pa. At hindi lang yun, no? Meron pang ibang mga product and mga brands. So, resulta yun ng ano 'no, pagkatapos ng World War II kasi nauunahan na sila kagaya ng Amerika, ng Germany. So, sa Amerika nandun yung Chevrolet, yung Ford. So, sa automotive manufacturing 'to 'no. Sa Germany naman nandun yung mga BMW, yung mga Mercedes-Benz. So, ang ginawa ng, Japan, niresolba nila yun 'no, yung technological gap na yun after ng World War II. So, nag-invest sila sa research and development, innovation, para makahabol dun sa mga bansa na yun. At hanggang ngayon, alam naman natin 'no, na sila yung pinakamabenta kahit dun sa mga bansang yun, lalo na 'to, yung Toyota. So, this catch-up was characterized by the adaptation of existing technologies, improving them and innovating in ways that propelled Japan to a leading position in various industries, showcasing the effectiveness of targeted efforts to close technological gaps. So nung mga panahon kasi na yun 'no, dun nagsimulang umusbong yung ano, yung, automotive industry, yung mga early 1900s. So isa yung Japan sa naging successful after nung World War II. Pero hindi talaga sila yung mga una nun 'no. Sabi ko nga nauna yung America, in Germany, humabol lang 'to in Japan. So, inadapt nila yung mga technological advancement ng mga bansang yun para makahabol sila. So, hindi lang yun, hindi lang sa automotive. Pero ayun kasi yung ayun yung mas familiar tayo. Yung sa automotive industry. Sikat kasi, no? Pero kasama na rin to, no? Yung Toshiba, Nikon, Canon, Sony, Nintendo, Panasonic. So, familiar naman tayo sa mga technologies na yan. So, next na example natin is yung sa South Korea. So, South Korea is often cited as one of the most successful countries of a country that has effectively employed technological catch-up strategies. So, nag-catch up din yung South Korea bago sila maging developed. So, after experiencing rapid economic growth in the latter half of 20th century, South Korea transformed into a technological advanced nation within a few decades. So, chaebols, large family-owned conglomerates like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG played a pivotal role in South Korea's technological catch-up. These companies invested heavily in research and development and innovation. So based on my research about din to sa nung mga kalagitnaan ng 20th century, mga 1950s. About din to sa mga sa mga giyera, sa mga war. So ayun talaga yung resulta ng giyera no. Na pipigilan ng mag-advance yung mga bansa or umangat pa. Kaya kumbaga kumabagal yung progress ng isang bansa dahil sa mga giyera nga na yan, no. So yung South Korea humabol sila nung mga 1950s. So nag-invest din sila sa research and development and innovation. So ito yung example ng isa pang technological catch-up. And ito pa yung iba nilang mga brand. So sa kanila rin pala yung Kia. So next example, ito naman yung sa Taiwan. So halos ganun din, nakasabayan rin ng South Korea. Nagkaroon din ng technological catch-up. So yung Taiwan naman, nag-invest naman yan sa Taiwan emerged as a global hub for high-tech manufacturing, especially in the semiconductor industry. Companies like TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, became leaders in the semiconductor fabrication. So, sa bansa naman nila, sa kanila yung, sabi nga dito, yung sa semiconductor industry. So, sa kanila po yung mga brand na to, yung Asus, yung Acer, Transcend, yung flash drive, and yung MSI, ayun yung mga familiar sa atin. And nagsimula yun nung mga ganitong taon. Dahil nga sa technological catch-up process na ginawa ng Taiwan para humabol sa mga iba pang bansa na competitor din nila. So next, ay na yung tatlo, no? Dito na po tayo sa susunod, yung technological leapfrogging. So somehow this is kamukha nung catch-up, pero pag sinabing technological leapfrogging, refers to the phenomenon where developing countries skip over certain stages of technological development and adopt more advanced technologies directly. This allows them to catch up with developed countries more quickly and efficiently without having to invest in outdated or inefficient technologies. Leapfrogging can occur in various fields such as energy, transportation, communication, and healthcare, and can have significant economic, social, and environmental implication. So, ito na yung definition ng technological leapfrogging. May ini-skip na stages para magawa yung isang technological development. So, once again, ganun ulit to, no? Para to sa mga developing countries talaga, yung technological leapfrogging. Pero, pwede rin to ma-apply sa developed countries or yung mga bago sila maging developed country, dumadaan sa proseso ng technological leapfrogging. So, ito yung mga example ko naman sa mga bansang yun. So, ito yung Smart City Transformation in Singapore. So, isa sa example ko na ng technological leapfrogging ng developed country. So, Singapore has been rapidly advancing in its infrastructure and services through the integration of smart technologies. So ito yung mga factor na nagko-contribute dun sa leapfrogging na yun, leapfrogging process na yun, no? So, yung gobyerno kasi nila, kumbaga, matino yung gobyerno. Sa kanila kasi nanggagaling lagi yung initiatives, hindi sa mga private company na meron sa Singapore. So, technological integration, halos lahat merong technology na kasama na sa pang-araw-araw na buhay nila. Smart mobility solution, so nag-iinvest din sila sa mga EV or yung mga autonomous vehicle din, yung mga electronic vehicles, digital government services, so and sustainable urban planning. So yung Singapore, no, alam naman natin to na kumbaga sila yung halos sila yung pinaka-advanced na mga bansa. So hindi siya nag-skip ng ng step, pero sila yung pinakauna kumbaga. At yung proseso na ginawa ng Singapore na yun is pwede rin nating tawagin na leapfrogging kasi nga sila yung unang gumawa ng mga smart city transformation. So Singapore's rapid embrace of smart technologies showcases how a developed city-state can leapfrog conventional infrastructure and evolve into a smart city, improving the quality of life for its residents and setting an example for urban development worldwide. So, next po natin. Ito naman yung sa Sweden, mobile payment leapfrogging in Sweden. So, the adaptation of mobile payment systems has surged in Sweden, and the country has been moving rapidly towards a cashless society. Key factors and strategies contributing to this leapfrogging include early adaptation of the technology, convenience and efficiency. So, tama naman, mas convenient kapag cashless or through phone na lang lagi yung pagbabayad. Wala nang cash. So government support, sabi ko nga malaki yung epekto lagi ng gobyerno kasi nga nasa kanila yung mga policy, yung mga pagpapatupad ng mga regulations. Collaboration and innovation, isa pang factor para magawa nila yung leapfrogging na to. So Sweden's rapid and widespread adaptation of mobile payment technologies without heavily relying on traditional cash-based systems demonstrate a form of technological leapfrogging within a developed nation. So hindi sila kumbaga sila pa lang rin kagaya nung sa may Singapore kanina na pagiging smart city. Itong Sweden naman, sila yung kung hindi man una, hindi ako sigurado kung sila yung pinakauna, pero sila yung mga pinakaunang bansa na nag-adapt ng ganito, no. So merong policies na pinapatupad yung government na talagang gagamit na ng cashless system yung mga tao. So next, yung EV or electric vehicle leapfrogging in Norway. So sa Norway kasi sila na yung or karamihan sa mga sasakyan sa kanila na umaandar sa kalsada, puro electric vehicle na, or kung meron mang non-electric or yung conventional type pa, iilan na lang. So malaking epekto nga ito ulit yung government incentives and policies. So ito pa, yung public charging infrastructure para maisagawa yung isang leapfrogging na to, no. So malaking epekto rin to, no, kapag marami na yung public charging infrastructure, mas mahihikayat yung mga tao na gumamit ng EV, ng electric vehicle compared dun sa mga conventional, no, yung gumagamit ng combustion engine. Public awareness and education, so and favorable geography and demographics. So kaya rin nila naisagawa to, no, sa Norway, yung pag-convert halos karamihan ng electric vehicle. Hindi sila gaanong nahirapan sa dami ng mga sasakyan kasi maliit lang yung Norway. So kumbaga pabor sa kanila yung technological leapfrogging na to kasi nga maliit lang yung bansa nila, onti lang rin yung mga sasakyan na kailangan nilang i-convert or kailangan nilang palitan ng electric vehicle. And early market introduction. So kumbaga nung pagkalabas ng EV, na isipan na agad ng gobyerno nila ng Norway na i-adapt yung electric vehicle. So Norway's rapid transition to EV with a high proportion of EVs on its road compared to traditional combustion engine vehicles showcases how a developed country can leapfrog the traditional fossil fuel-based transportation system and embrace sustainable and environmentally friendly alternatives. So, that's 3 na po, no? And dagdag ko lang rin to sa report ko. Medyo, actually, hindi ganun naging kaklaro sa akin yung magiging part ng report. Pero, naano ko po kasi na ma'am, nabasa ko lang yung chat din niya dun sa may Teams natin, mga Thursday po yata yun. Hindi ko na masyadong inilahat yung naka-assign talaga sa amin. Pero siguro yung susunod na lang na report sa akin, yung para sa developing countries. Yung kalahati po kasi yung ko, yung kinuha kong topic dun sa may nakatabulate na distribution ng ng mga report. So, ito na yung last na part ng report ko. New technological paradigm. Pero bago yun, i-define muna natin, no? So, technological paradigm refers to a dominant or overarching set of beliefs, methods, practices, and technologies that shape and guide the development and evolution of a particular field of technology. It represents a shared framework within a specific industry or technological domain, defining norms, principles, and approaches that guide innovation, research, and development. So, honestly po, no, since Thursday ko nga lang po nabasa at kailangan na pong mag-present talaga ngayong Sabado, nahirapan na ako dito sa part na to, yung pagkuha ng data para sa new technological paradigm. Kasi kapag sinabi nga kasing paradigm, set of beliefs, no, or methods sa mga makabagong technology. Pero ang ipe-present ko po sa inyo ngayon, similar nung kaninang present ni ma'am. Ipe-present ko po yung dominant, kumbaga yung yung emerging technologies natin sa ngayon or dominant technologies na meron tayo ngayon at kung saan nagpo-focus yung mga researchers. So, ito yung mga yan. Nakalista naman dito pero isa-isahin po muna natin, no? So, new technological paradigm isa to. Artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning. AI and machine learning were transforming various industries. They were being applied in healthcare, finance, and autonomous vehicles, and natural language processing, and sa iba pa, no? So, pag sinabi pong machine learning, ayun yung kaya ng no? Kumbaga meron ng sariling isip yung mga machine, kahit hindi mo i-program, kumbaga madadagdag pa sa panibagong data nila, no? Or panibagong program yung kahit hindi mo talaga pinrogram na kaya nilang gawin yan, kumbaga kaya nang matuto ng machine. So dahil yun dito sa artificial intelligence. So next is yung quantum computing. Quantum computing held the promise of exponentially faster computational power with potential application in areas like cryptography, complex simulations like for material science, optimization problems, and more. So next, 5G and next generation communication. So ito nabanggit na rin naman na kanina ni ma'am, no? The widespread deployment of 5G networks promise to revolutionize communication, enabling faster and more reliable wireless connectivity. This was expected to catalyze advancement in IoT, Internet of Things, AR, augmented reality, VR, and other technology. So, nabanggit na nga rin kanina na meron na rin tayong 6G. So, itong 5G na papainabangan na natin ngayon, pero kumbaga continuous pa rin yung pagde-develop ng technology na to. So, ito rin, no? Yung blockchain and distributed ledger technology. Blockchain was being explored for applications beyond cryptocurrency, including supply chain management, smart contracts, decentralized finance, and securing data sharing. So next, biotechnology and genomics. Nabanggit na rin pala ito kanina, no? Advances in biotechnology, particularly in gene editing technologies like CRISPR, or clustered regularly interspace short palindromic repeats, were revolutionizing healthcare, agriculture, potentially even aspects of human evolutions daw, no? So, nagagamit to sa medical field, yung biotechnology and genomics. So, sa ngayon, no, continuous rin yung pag-i-innovate and research and development ng biotechnology and genomics. So ito, alam naman na natin yung renewable energy and energy storage. So up until now, hindi pa rin optimize yung mga technology natin sa kuha ng mga renewable energy. Kagaya ng sa mga solar and wind, marami pa ring nagde-develop para ma-optimize, no, or para mapataas yung efficiency ng mga 'yan, lalo na sa solar. So, ito rin, no, yung mga extended realities, yung augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality. So, nagagamit yan ito, no, yung familiar tayo. Or kung di man familiar, ito yung nakikita sa social media madalas. Ginagamit yan sa gaming, no? Education, training, virtual tours, simulations, and more. So, malaking, malaking bagay para sa pagpe-present, lalo na sa industry kapag nagte-training sa mga simulations, no, and even in education. Advanced materials, development of new materials such as graphene, metamaterials, and advanced composites was driving advancement in electronics, aerospace, healthcare, and other industries. So, marami pa rin pala, no, na nade-develop na mga bagong mga material ngayon na ito nga, no, na kapakipakinabang in electronics, aerospace, healthcare, and sa iba pa. So, ito na po yata yung last, no? Robotics and automation. So, papasok din dito yung autonomous vehicles. So, marami sa mga researcher and innovators ngayon nagfo-focus dito, no, sa robotics and automation. So, itong mga pinresent ko na new technological paradigm, sana magkaroon tayo ng idea dito sa pag-produce natin ng para dito, no, para sa requirement natin kay Ma'am Cherry na case study or yung yung title proposal for design for environment na technology. So, ito po yung mga references, and yun lang po. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.
Okay, thank you, Sir Mihare. So, maganda yung ating topic about technological catch-up and technological leapfrogging. So, it's good to know that when we talk about technological catch-up, we're talking about, sabi na, innovation. Yung mga features, tama po ba? I think I have seen that in the presentation. So, catch-up involves so, gulo ko yung aking yan tayo dun sa magandang definition ni Sir yung can we go back on the definition, Sir? So, i-recall lang natin yung definitions may sa first slide, I think. So we can have the definitions properly of the catch up, and yung unang-una nandun yung definition ni Sir, magandang definition ni Sir. Sabi daw po, this involves catch up, tama ba? Nakita ko yung mga keywords dun So, innovation, imitation, innovation. Tama po? So, bakit daw kailangan natin ng technological catch up and technological leapfrogging? Para daw maging competitive. And improve the well-being of their citizens. So it's true. So it's true that it's very important to identify ano ba yung mga technological catch-up and technological leapfrogging. I think for the countries that we have mentioned, you've mentioned about South Korea, Japan, Taiwan. Sila yung mga countries that shows technological catch-up. And basically, ano yung pinaka-main factor nila doon? So, makikita natin that they heavily invest on research and development. Yun yung parang pinaka-key term dun eh. And some of them, especially South Korea, nagkaroon sila ng support on startups. Okay? Tama po ba? Doon nagsimula yung startup sa South Korea. Meron pa nga silang movie about startups. Okay? So, yun ang maganda sa kanila. Sabi nga, South Korea is known for its advanced technology and innovation in electronics. So, yung Samsung. And as we can see that Samsung is identified also as that uses green technology. Sabi kong Samsung is one of a company that talagang ini-implement nila yung green technology. Okay? So, yung mga leapfrogging po, sabi natin sa leapfrogging, how do we define leapfrogging? Sabi daw sa leapfrogging, what is a key term there? Anong key term natin sa leapfrogging? Meron silang in-skip. Tama po ba? From the word itself, leapfrogging. Am I correct, Sir Mijares? Ay, yun yung nakita kong key term eh.
Yes po, ma'am.
Oo, may skip sila, pero inadapt nila yung technology. So, you have mentioned about Norway. Ano ba? Okay. Some also countries in, I think, South Africa, pwede natin silang i-classify as the countries that embrace technological leapfrogging. Okay. So, some of them are about renewable energy sa bandang mga South African countries. Okay? What can you comment on those countries na somehow naging successful sa catch-up? Aside from R&D, ano kaya yung main contributions? Bakit naging successful sila on technological catch-up? What do you think would be, aside from they invest heavily on the R&D, ano kaya yung isa sa mga reason also, bakit naging successful ang kanilang, ano yung may common dun sa tatlong country na yun? Yeah, yes, Sir Mark.
Yes, ma'am. Ano ba? Well, first up,
Parang may
ma'am,
common denominator sila eh.
Oo, may common denominator, ma'am. Pero bago ko sagutin din yung yung part na yon. Comment lang din ako dun sa leapfrogging at saka sa catch-up.
Yes, sir.
Pakiramdam ko two different things siya, no? In a way na yung catch-up kasi, yung kumbaga, you're trying to be at par with the others, in terms of technology, no? So for
Yes,
example,
sir.
for us, 5G, alam natin yung US nag 5G mga 5 years ago, no? Nag fiber optic sila 5 years ago. Nag-catch up tayo. Pero kapag leapfrogging kasi, I would say nag-jump ka tapos naging country that or company that others look up to in terms of innovation and technology. So, for example, a classic example nga niyan yung South Korea, Before kilala lang sila for agrarian, back in the day, agrarian sila. More on Tapos all of a sudden dahil which brings me to the dun sa response ko, ma'am, na other possible approaches for leapfrogging or catch up is yung technology transfer, parang yung technology transfer na aka reverse engineering yun eh. Diba? I mean, we've heard stories na kaya naging successful sila doon sa technology innovation nila kasi ginagawa nila, kinokopyan nila yung technology na meron ng US, tapos ni-reverse engineering nila, tapos they make their own brand out of it. Tapos little by little, dahil simply because kumita na rin sila, nagkaroon sila ng funding, they were able to surpass, or not even siguro surpass, parang be at par doon sa mga
They modified, tama ba?
They modified and adapt, parang narinig ko yung adapt parang gusto doon sa report ni Sir Jasper kanina. So yun, isa din yun sa mga reason. I would say, for example, for countries like Taiwan and Singapore, kung titignan mo, they are small countries. and they don't have like resources to be technologically advanced. Pero still nagawa nila yon in terms of manufacturing and for Taiwan and yung Singapore in terms of R&D. And siguro nagawa nila yon simply because yung skills nila and workforce, yung development of skills and workforce nila umangat to a certain level. And which relates doon sa first report ni Sir Agulan, no, na magka-tie up siya na nakakatulong na yung technical training, no, para sa development of skills and workforce na kaya nila sustain. Siguro one example pa, ma'am, last is siguro if you've heard, ito very current to, no, yung Israel, no, Israel dahil may guerra sa Israel with Palestine. If you've heard kung gaano ka-advanced yung kanilang ano ba yung warfare ba tawag dyan?
Warfare, they have nuclear di ba? Dami nilang nuclear weapons.
Technological
Lumabas kung
warfare.
ilan ang kanilang nuclear weapons. I think it's more than
Kaya
ang
nga.
dami.
Oo. So parang in their case, pakiramdam ko they are not known for, and they are simply known for technological warfare, ano, similar to North Korea. Pero tingin ko specific for Israel, hindi ko alam sa North Korea paano sila naka-acquire ng ganun. Pero sila collaborative partnership kasi alam natin for the longest time ally ng US ang Israel. Kaya they partner with US para matulungan sila ma-enhance yung kanilang technologies related to giyera saka yung military know-how.
One thing more, I think they are proven sila ng tinatawag na resilience Tama po ba? One thing they have in common is that they are very resilient. Parang pinakita nila na talagang people from those three countries, especially South Korea, China, and Japan, tama ba? Resilient talaga sila. Yung tunay talaga na salitang resilient, hindi lang sa salita, pati sa gawa. Resilient. And I guess one also factor is that yung culture ng tatlong bansa yun is, I think they have common culture. Talagang very resilient po sila. Okay? I think si Sir Magat nagtataas ng kamay. Yes, Sir Magat. Sige po. Can share po your thoughts?
Hello, Ma'am Cherry. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Maganda yung ni Sir. Kanina may narinig ako sa kanya na yung continuous development. Kasi it was, basahin ko lang, Ma'am. It was originally developed by an American physicist, Walter A. Shomart. During the 1920s, the cycle drove an inspiration for a continuous evaluation. So yun ang common dividend ng mga research yung continuous development ng mga country. So yun, halimbawa naka-develop sila, so continuous nilang searching. So kagaya ngayon yung tungkol sa nuclear, ma'am, ang pinag-uusapan ay ang Pilipinas nakalagay sa news maggagawa na ng nuclear for energy. Ayun lang po, ma'am. Yan ang common dividend. Yeah.
I think
yung continuous development. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Hindi, sir. I think with regards to nuclear, kasi parang nagkaroon tayo ng naging close-minded ang Filipinos with regards to nuclear. Tama po ba? Kaya nasayang. Actually, ang laki-laki ng lupa sa Bataan, nasayang. Yes, sir.
Nasa news, ma'am, magkakaroon na ng mag-installation. Nasa news, ma'am. I think
Opo.
1 week.
Basta po, it would be used for the common good, I guess. Malaking tulong siya. Kasi when we talk about nuclear, what comes into Filipino minds is war. Tama po ba? Yun ang medyo unang natin unang naiisip natin when we talk about nuclear. Kaya medyo hesitant ang Filipino people before para gamitin yung nuclear energy. Okay, but as we go along with the technology, so medyo nare-realize na siguro na hindi lang po nuclear for war ang nuclear, but definitely one advantage of nuclear is for energy use po. Okay? Yes, Sir Charlton. Sige po.
Sige po, ano lang ako po, magbigay lang din ako ng
Share ng
opinion.
thoughts po. Yes, sir. Sige po.
Yung mga bansa po kasi na maunlad, kung titingnan natin yung mga history, may kakaiba sa kanilang mga bansa, no? Yung katulad ng Japan or Germany, Korea, no? Mapapansin natin sa kanila, hindi lang yung technology ang nagpi-play ng napaka-importanting role, kundi yung kultura.
Yes, sir. Yun po.
Kasi
We have one thing in common.
galing na ako ng Japan, ng Germany, ng US. Nakita ko yung culture nila, unang-una mapagmahal sila sa sa bansa kung ikukumpara lang sa Pilipinas. So, yung loyalty nila, yung kanilang nationalism tsaka patriotism. Kasi pag sa Korea pumunta ka, iilan lang na foreign cars ang nandun, even sa Japan. Hindi sila, sa Pilipinas gusto natin lahat galing sa ibang bansa, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Yun ang pagkakaiba natin. We are on the streets, nakikipaglaban tayo ng ayaw natin ng imperialista, mga dayuhan, pero yung mga sapatos natin, Nike, di ba? Yung mga natin, puro relo, puro galing sa ibang bansa. Kasi we patronize yung mga products ng ng ibang bansa rather than our own. No, even sa mga film and others. Kasi nung galing po ako ng Japan, yung pag ni-research mo yung history nila, they are not really catching up. Kumbaga, 1800s pa lang, talagang nag-aano na sila ng hindi sila nag-catch up nitong 1900s lang, kundi noon pa lang nag-aano talaga sila, nagpo-put up sa technology. Kaya meron silang mga malalaking barko, magagandang mga computer, mga research. Ginagaya kasi nila yung they are catching up in such a way na ginagaya nila yung mga advanced like Germany, Japan, England, no? Pero kahit na ang kagandahan sa Japan, kahit na nadurog sila nung World War II, nakabangon sila agad.
Yes, sir.
Tayo hindi naman tayo.
Tama ba? Very resilient.
Tayo hindi naman tayo nadurog sa sa World War II,
Yes,
'di ba?
yes.
Nasakop lang tayo. Sila nabagsakan ng nuklear Pero ngayon, ang bilis nila na nakabawi. No, kasi dati na silang merong mga yung mga Sony, Mitsubishi, Mitsui, mga mga conglomerate, Japanese conglomerate na mga company, Mitsui, Sumitomo, Mitsubishi, malalaking yan, mga company at mga mayayamang pamilya na talagang nakikipag-collaborate sa government. So ganun ang style nila. And then nung sila sa gera, tinulungan naman sila ng Amerika, di ba? May Marshall Plan. Tapos nagpadala ng mga consultants, katulad nga ng sinabi ni Sir na yung mga Deming tsaka sila Schuhart sa process control and so on, no? Pero makikita mo, yung ultimate goal nila is mahal nila yung bansa nila na gusto nilang laging
talagang yung nationalism.
Nationalism. Sa atin kasi gusto puro kanya-kanya, puro pribado, walang tiwala sa isa't isa, katulad po ng yung Saraw. 'Di ba? Yung family ng Saraw, nagde-develop tayo ng jeep. Hanggang na nalugi na lang yung Saraw, 'di ba? Wala tayong maipagmalaking sariling sasakyan. Wala tayong sariling transport, pero marami tayong mga engineer, 'di ba? Wala tayong sariling tren, wala tayong sariling mga So, yun po ang isang nakita ko. Ganun din sa Korea, mapagmahal sila sa produkto nila. Karamihan doon makikita mo puro Korean products. Madalang yung yung mag-aano sila ng mga nila, yung mga foreign products, no? Tsaka ganun din, malaking ginagampanan po yung yung part ng government. Kasi yung government nila tumutulong. Kumbaga binibigyan ng incentive, mga tax holidays, di ba? Binababaan yung tax para katulad nung sa Amerika din, halimbawa yung solar at electric vehicle. Pag bumili ka ng electric vehicle, ang laki ng mga bawas sa sa mga tax, tapos merong mga incentives. So ganun po yung mga strategy nila, pinapaloan nila yung mga tao para i-take yung mga ganong technology para mag-develop and so on. So yun po ang nakita kong mga ilang differences siguro. It's more,
Yes,
may
sir.
part din yung culture tsaka yung
Culture talaga po talaga.
Mm.
And if you would notice,
Thank you po.
sa bansang iyon, pag medyo nag-failed ang isang, let's say, political people, tama po ba? Talagang nagre-resign sila. At worst, nagsuicide sila. Medyo nag-failed sila or somehow medyo may konting nakitang hindi maganda sa kanila.
Sa ano po yun, sa delikadesa eh. Dito
Yes,
sa atin
sir.
na-condemn na eh, magtatakbo pa uli eh.
Dito nga po ano na eh, 'di ba? Yeah.
Mm.
Nananalo pa. Nananalo pa, sir. Convicted na nga, nananalo pa. So, yun ang medyo, I think, medyo problema sa atin. Okay? Sige po. One last thought po, galing kay Sir Mark. Meron pa pong i-answer, Mark?
Ma'am, one last lang pala, may nakalimutan ako doon sa sinabi
Yes, sir.
ko
Sige
kanina.
po.
Oo. Actually, during doon sa report ni Sir Jasper, parang nabanggit niya na worried siya kasi medyo, ano call this? Medyo nakulang na siya ng time doon sa technical paradigm. Pero ang totoo niyan, parang pakiramdam ko hindi, no? Kasi when you talk about technology paradigm, parang ito yung direction na gustong gawin ng isang, ito yung motivation. Ito yung motivation kung bakit mo gustong mag-leapfrog or mag-catch up sa technology, ano. So nabanggit niya, for example, si Norway, ano, dahil mataas yung premium nila towards clean air, ano. Kaya kaya sabi nila, gawin natin lahat ng kalsada natin sa lahat ng mag-invest tayo sa electronic vehicles, no. So parang ganun, which is sinuportahan naman ng government as Sir ano kanina na nag-factor in yung suporta ng government for taxes and and all. And ayun siguro yung actually pag-iisipan ko nga dapat nasa unahan yun, yung technological paradigm, kasi yun yung motivation mo, bakit mo gugustuhin na mag-leapfrog or mag-catch up in terms of technology. In a similar manner, balikan ko lang Israel kasi nga ano sila, country na war-stricken yung kanilang area doon sa west, kaya gusto nila mag-advance in terms of military and guerrilla warfare, parang ganyan. Kaya yun yung technology paradigm. Yun lang po. Salamat.
Okay, thank you. So technological paradigm is some sort of a model of technology. So yun po yung isa sa mga definition and simple definitions of technological paradigm po. Okay? So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Yung ating pong last reporter, ready po ba? Or we can have it next meeting. Sino po yung ating next reporter? Sir Sismaet?
Good afternoon po, ma'am. Bali, hindi pa po ako tapos sa report. Medyo
Okay lang po.
nahihirapan ako kung hanapin yung approach po ng bawat countries.
Okay. Anyway, at least you have an idea from previous reporter kay Sir Mijares on the topic.
Yes
Sa iyo
po.
naman po
Yes, ma'am.
ay developing countries po. Anyway, it's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Medyo pasensya po for the short notice. I thought it was moved on the 28th, kaya medyo sabi ko sayang kasi yung araw eh. So that we can accommodate all of our reporters and present ano po yung na-prepare nila. But anyway, it's okay po. It's okay. It's good that at least na-move forward tayo for today. Hindi naman nasayang yung meeting natin. So we have reporters 3 and 4. Still, wala pa rin po si Sir Gusto. Ano kayong nangyari kay Sir Gusto? Anyone who knows Sir Gusto? Robert Gusto po? Meron po bang co-worker si Sir Gusto? Or anyone who knows Sir Gusto? Still, hindi pa rin po
ma'am.
siya makapag. Yes, sir.
Hindi rin po nagre-reply eh.
Ay,
Hindi ko
oo
po
nga
alam.
po.
Kasi nung last meeting po, di ba siya dapat yung first
Yes,
reporter?
sir. Opo.
Alam ko po nung una, meron na talaga siyang naka-prepared. Pero nagkasakit daw po siya last week. Di ko lang po alam ngayon. Kinokontak ko pa po.
Sige po. Anyway, you can have it until next meeting po. Okay? So, again, on the 28th, ito, totoo na po ito. Pasensya na po. So, we'll still have it asynchronous class. It's your time to prepare a topic for the case study. Tapos po, November 4, so wala po tayong meeting sa November 4. So anyway, some of you I think this will be a long, parang long weekend tayo. Tama po ba? Kasi November 2 is special holiday. I don't think, hindi ko alam kung 3 will be declared also. Kasi some schools ay, parang online ang ginawa nila. So, tayo naman po is November 4. Still, we'll have it as a research day. Para at least you can look into and research into rather sa topic na pwede niyong magawa dun sa ating, dun sa ating final requirements po. Again, if you have already the topic, you can post it dito sa ating MS Teams to avoid redundancy of topics for presentation po. So, 3 po yung hinihingi ko ha. 3 po for approval po. Kindly present or post at least 3 topics for approval para po makapag-umpisa na kayo dun sa ating final requirements po. Okay? Okay po tayo doon? Okay po tayo doon? So,
Yes, ma'am. Okay po.
yes, okay. Sige. Dahil kompleto na po tayo, I would ask again for us to open your camera. Kasi kanina wala yung iba nating mga classmate nyo eh. Okay, so ask po ulit ako to open our cams for those who are here already. Kanina medyo kulang pa tayo eh. Okay? Yes, po. Sige po, sir.
Ma'am, may tatanong.
Sige po, sir.
Yung po bang case study, iba pa po yun sa ating yung report? Hindi ko kasi nakakuha yun, ma'am.
Si case study po is an additional requirement po. So actually, 3 yung requirements natin for the subject. The presentation, ito po, case study, and yung final proposal po natin. Ipopost lang po. I'm going to make parang assignment tab para dun nyo isubmit si case study po. Together with this, another assignment tab also for the presentation po.
Ma'am, yung case study po, ma'am, para sa kukuha kami sa sa mga article, mga research article
Yes po. It could be an existing one, or from the existing you can have your own proposal for changes po, or pwede niyo namang i-adapt po anong meron nandun po sa existing po.
Okay. Sige.
Clear po tayo dyan?
Okay.
Ayaw gumana ng aking camera.
Ask po to open our cam po for
Device setting. Naka-open na po yung cams natin?
Mukhang okay na po, ma'am.
Wait lang po. Sa akin ang hindi nag-open. Ayan. Okay po. Teka lang po. Okay. Sige po. This is our, okay na po tayong lahat. Okay, thank you for today. Wait lang po ha. So that I can have the... Lang po natin for... Wait lang. Last one. Wait lang po. Parang hirap po mag... Post lang po natin sa ating... Hindi siya nag-post kanina eh. Ayun. Disregard yung aking screen ha. Okay? So thank you for today, and thank you also for sharing your thoughts. So 28 po, wala tayo. Sigurado na po yun, pasensya na po. Sigurado tayo sa 28 na asynchronous po tayo. So you can start submitting kung mayroon na pong case study, you can start submitting already the case study po. Okay? So other concern po? Other concerns so far? So
All good
susunod
po,
na po nating reporter na po, that will be on, kailan ang susunod nating meeting? That will be on November 11 na po. Medyo mahaba yung ating bakasyon. Okay? So November 11 na po. Okay? So stay safe po. Happy long weekend. Okay? At medyo makapagpahinga tayo dun sa mga isang linggong walang pasok po. Okay? So thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Stay safe
Sige po.
po.